Today, I'm joined by Shaili Guru. Shaili has built AI products at Nike, Disney, and Amazon, and she has also co-created the University of Washington's AI PM certification program. We're going to dive into her journey into AI and unpack her tried and tested AI PM playbooks. Shaili, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Shelley, let's dive into first thing that I'm really looking to learn more about, given all your experience and the fact that you've just launched Bluenox.ai. I know that it's specifically geared towards helping product managers upskill and
Mhm.
execute in the AI space. So tell me, what specific capability gaps are you seeing inside the product management teams, or this could be engineering teams as well? And how are you approaching the upskilling aspect of these teams?
I can speak mostly from like the product management standpoint. I have obviously worked with engineering teams, machine learning teams. Obviously, without them, we wouldn't be able to build out the products. But especially when we were taking a look at the product managers, I think at this day and age, everyone just wants to throw AI everywhere. So like really figuring out how to solve or what problems to solve with AI is going to be like that number one skill gap that I'm sort of seeing product managers overcome. I've already seen them overcome as well. But there are a lot of other things as well, right? Like, okay, now you've picked out your use case that you want to solve with AI. What comes next? Do you have data there? Right. So figuring out what data is necessary. Working with your data scientist, you also want to figure out what sort of AI algorithm you're going to need. And then with that would come, specific data that you would need as well. So there are a lot of different things that come into play. I hope that helps, and I can dive into user experiences and designs as well, especially now with AI products. You want to make sure that you're building transparent product as well as building trust of that user as well. Because if they don't realize that your product is utilizing AI, but you're using AI in the background, and then they find out, let's say 2 years down the road, you're probably going to end up losing their trust and losing them as well as your customer. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to double click into that. But generally, what you're highlighting is that since we're moving from more deterministic systems to probabilistic systems, a big part of the mindset and the capability that you're developing is making sure that they're solving the right use cases, they're using the right data to incorporate into these use cases, and then most importantly, keeping trust and ethical use at the center of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there
That's
is like a
great.
nuanced product cycle that comes through as well.
So actually, let's dive into that.
Okay.
Especially since you have operated on both sides of this transformation, you've been a PM in the traditional space. You've now spent a lot of time operating as a PM in the AI ML space. Help us understand what's the difference. How does the SDLC or general framework of the role changes?
I would say when similar to what you said before, right? Software product life cycles are very deterministic. You know exactly what you're building, what's going in your sprint to sprint. You can do that quarterly mapping. You know exactly what's happening for the 6 sprints or 12 weeks, right? And it will hopefully go according to that for the most part. Now with AI, it's a lot different, right? Because first of all, once you have figured out what use case to go and solve, you're going to go and build out a proof of concept. What does that look like? You're going to be working with a data scientist. Now you can even use AWS SageMaker. You could in the past as well. I'm sure there are other tools out there that you can utilize and sort of start building out that algorithm yourself. But what if it doesn't go as well as you thought? Maybe you didn't have like as qualified data or quality of the data wasn't as good. Then you're going to have to build that proof of concept all over again. So now it becomes very probabilistic. So in terms of going from 0 to 1, it's not just putting out a website or putting out a feature within an application. This 0 to 1 could take anywhere between 3 to 6 months, a lot of different times, and you're just putting out that proof of concept. So that way you can validate what you're trying to build out within your product. And so getting that buy-in from the executive can also be sometimes very hard. And it's very iterative. So let's say if the proof of concept didn't work out, but you learned a lot from it, right? It's creating a hypothesis, proving it right or wrong, and then sort of iterating more on that. So it's an iterative cycle, is what I like to call it.
So that's interesting, Shelley. Narrative around AI is that it gives you speed and acceleration. But based on what I'm hearing from you, especially if you're building an enterprise grade product. It sounds like it's not really, the benefit is not so much about speed, right? It's really about the value that you're bringing, because there is so much that goes into, first and foremost, even the preparation of the data, cleaning
Yeah.
it, massaging it, labeling it, contextualizing it, all of that preparation. And then from there, you're actually building prototypes, and then you're running it through different kind of evaluation criterias so that you can integrate the right guardrails into it. Actually, as a PM, when you're building with AI, it might give you speed in your own efficiencies in some areas if you're using AI in your work, but building enterprise grade solutions might actually require longer cycles.
I would say a little bit of both. You honed in on that really well. It's because you're allowed more iterations and you can move through them very quickly. If one proof of concept isn't working out, build out another one, maybe doing that parallelly as well. So you're before I feel as though I would say it also depends because enterprise is going to be a lot different versus startup as well, right? So going back to like the question of speed, the speed is still there, but I think you're just doing a lot more within the shorter time frame because of AI. To your point, like the productionization has gone up. But when it comes to scaling it out, getting that, it's that buy-in from the customers, buy-in from the users is now going to be taking a lot more time than it's
Mm,
ever before.
that makes sense. Shelly, I'm curious, is there any specific example that comes to mind based on the work that you've done around AI, ML, maybe even contrasted for us, where AI POC was successful and maybe it was not successful? You don't have to give specifics, just to help put some perspective around it.
So I would say when I used to work at one of the companies, build out different materials, I can't talk about what company or what sort of material or anything. There were always iterations that were happening when it comes to building out a material. Now it can take anywhere between, 1.5 to 3 years, sometimes 4 years, depending on how many iterations of cycles you have. So at that point in time, we were always collecting data at the end, right? But these were all manual processes that were happening in between. And at that point in time, sort of building out a platform that allows the materials to be tested right then and there on the platform in itself, using the past data, using machine learning, providing prescriptive analytics. We were able to shrink down that cycle from 4 to 6 weeks to 5 minutes. And so at that point in time, I would say that was successful versus there were other proof of concepts that have basically launched when it comes to like bot detection, for example, and figuring out, okay, which bots are attacking you, like your particular company's area. And then they're always learning as well. And so how do you
Mm.
keep up with that technology or the bot detection technology as well? So it's wild, wild west still out there.
That's interesting. So, Shelly, a lot of people reach out to me, and I'm sure they're reaching out to you as well, generally looking to understand how to upskill in the PM space, especially if their organizations are not yet investing in AI,
Yeah.
right? So, I'm curious, what recommendation do you have so that everybody, especially PMs, feel that they're still staying ahead of the curve, whether or not they're yet building with AI?
Yeah, that's a great question. I also get asked the same question. I would say if you have always had an idea, if you've had or if you've thought about a product that you want to build out, just do it. Now, literally, like we talked about earlier, with AI, you can build it within 30 minutes. Use Bolt.new, just chat with it. I was thinking about Substack yesterday. I'm also a creator of blog post on Substack. And so I'm like, okay, well, if there was a mind map out there for Substack, I think it would be so much more easier for people or customers of my blog post to like not have to scroll down, but they can just go to mind map. And if they're looking for machine learning, they can go and read other blog posts around that as well. And so I'll just go to bolt.new and sort of like ask it to, I'll give it product requirements as a PM, ask it exactly what I want, what sort of style, should it look like. So at this point in time, just go out, get your hands dirty, build it with any of the tools that you might be familiar with, and just get yourself out there. There's no failing at this point in time. If you're not trying, you're failing, I would say.
So it's really bringing your productized thinking into your daily flows, or even solving your own
Mhm.
problems. And the best way, of course, to learn AI is to actually play with it,
But
experiment
yeah.
with it. And to your point, it's easy, it's quick, it's cheap, and there is really no losing. So speaking of which, you talked about Bolt.new, but besides that, what does your new toolkit look like as a PM?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Over the last, I'll say 6 to 9 months, obviously Bolt.new, Lovable. I have also started using, without saying like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, especially I started dabbling into the comment yesterday where I'm like, okay, go ahead, pull out the last 3 days worth of IPM news because let's be honest, there's so many things that are changing so drastically. I can't keep up with it. So if I can have it scrape all of the information for me and put it in a document, experimenting more and more and want to keep using the new tools that are coming out. But those are the ones that are, well, actually 11 Labs as well, because I'm like, okay, how can you turn this into a podcast?
Yes.
Playing around with different voices, Notebook LM, Gemini. I mean, I feel like I've literally mentioned everything that's out there.
Well, you have definitely mentioned all my favorite tools here.
Yeah. It's
We
hard not
share
to
some
just
of
pick
that.
one, you know?
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
there is just so much value from each
yeah.
of these. I'm finding myself especially transitioning more and more towards Comet as my browser because of
Okay,
all the
okay.
different things you can do on demand with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But generally, what I'm hearing is you're using your AI toolkit is curated to help you with either learning or just staying up to date on events or any kind of news that you care about. You're also using it to build an
Yeah.
experiment. And then it sounds like you're also using AI for content and image generation and voice generation so that you can weave that more into your consulting as well.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely just staying on top of the news. It's one of the hardest things that yeah, I've had to like endure.
Shelly, what I'm also going to do is drop your Substack link
Okay.
into this post because personally, I found some really great posts there. This is really how we even connected because there was so much good information around just building with AI as a product manager. So I found it very useful and I'd love to share that with anybody who can benefit from it. Is there anything else that you would like to add besides what we discussed that could benefit product managers, especially?
Yeah, I would say don't have a FOMO. Whenever you have a FOMO, go try a different tool. Keep learning is all, and just do it. I have to say it right, a little bit of a Nike motto, but yeah, just keep at it.
Yeah,
AI is here to stay. I don't think we're in any AI winters as of right now. Just keep at
right.
it. Yeah, stay.
So momentum over inertia.
Yeah,
Choose
absolutely.
that every
Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Every
I
day, do
agree.
something.
I
Yeah,
agree. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Shelly, thank you so much for sharing all these practical insights. I really appreciate your time, and I know that PMs especially will find a lot of value from it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.